Before Dark Souls, before Elden Ring, before gamers even knew what get good meant, there was The Legend of Zelda, and I'm about to prove why this 1986 masterpiece didn't just define difficulty, it invented the language of adventure games that we still speak today. It was February 21st, 1986. Nintendo releases a game on the Famicom Disk System that comes packaged with something revolutionary, a battery-powered save system. 6 months later, it hits North America as a launch title for the NES, complete with that iconic gold cartridge. It sells 6.5 million copies and spawns a franchise worth billions. But here's what nobody talks about. Creator Shigeru Miyamoto created Zelda because he wanted to capture the feeling of childhood exploration, wandering through caves, discovering secret passages, getting completely lost in the woods near his home. But he did something radical. He gave players almost zero instruction, no tutorial, no quest markers, no handholding whatsoever. Just drop you in the middle of Hyrule with 3 hearts and say, figure it out. In 1986, this was either genius or commercial suicide. So here's the problem. If you're discovering Zelda in 2025, that same philosophy that made it brilliant also makes it brutal for newcomers. You can lock yourself out of progress by using bombs in the wrong place. You can wander around for hours without finding dungeons because the game never tells you where they are. You can face the wrong dungeon boss with the wrong equipment and just suffer. The Wizrobes in Dungeon 6? If you don't know what you're doing, they'll destroy you in seconds. And let's be honest, the internet is full of walkthrough guides, but most were written 20 years ago by people assuming you already knew the basics. They'll say go out to coordinate E7 without explaining the overworld grid. They'll mention the blue ring without telling you why it matters. They're technically accurate, but practically useless for modern players. That's where this Legend of Zelda playthrough comes in. We're going to beat The Legend of Zelda together, but not the way that you've seen it before. First, we're tackling the dungeons in an optimal order that gets you powered up fast. We're grabbing the white sword, the blue ring, and extra heart containers before even touching Dungeon 1. We're making sure you have the equipment and the knowledge to not just survive, but to dominate. Second, I'm explaining why behind every decision, why the dungeon matter orders, why certain items break the game open, why the blue ring is worth every rupee. And third, we're doing this with actual gameplay footage, clear visual guides, and strategies that work, whether you're playing this on original hardware, Nintendo Switch Online, or even an emulator. Now grab your wooden sword, light that candle. It's dangerous to go alone, but not with this guide. Now, let's save Hyrule. Stuck in a dungeon? Lost in the overworld? The Legend of Zelda doesn't have to be a mystery. This complete walkthrough guide takes you from your first sword to Ganon's final battle with maps, strategies, and secrets revealed. Available now at Barnes & Noble. Scan the QR code now. I'll also leave a link in the description. Your adventure starts here. Alright, before we touch a single dungeon, we're doing this right. Link starts with 3 hearts and a dream. We're getting him to 12 hearts, the magical sword, the blue ring, and stocked full of supplies. Trust me, this changes everything. The game drops you in the middle of Hyrule at coordinate H8. You'll see a cave directly above you. Walk in, and the old man hits you with one of gaming's most iconic lines. It's dangerous to go alone. Take this.
Here's how enemy drops work in The Legend of Zelda. Every enemy you defeat increases an invisible kill counter that determines what items drop. The counter starts at 0 and goes up by 1 with each kill. The game uses enemy groups to decide what drops. If you're starting fresh, if you take out an enemy in group A, you have a chance to get rupees. After an A group kill, if the very next enemy you take out is from the D group, you have a chance to get a fairy. I'll leave this up throughout the guide, so that way you can practice it.
We're starting with level 2. Just to recap, the grid system, the letters run vertically. A will be at the top left, and any other letter will be at the bottom. 1 will be at the top left, and any other number will be on the right. The entrance gives you 2 exits, up or east. You want to go east first. Now back in G3, unlock the upper door. F3 is located with Gorayas throwing boomerangs. Fight them carefully, get in close and slash fast. Now go back to F3. From F3, head up through the unlocked door. E3 is another rope room. Take out them all. They drop a key and open up the north door. This leads you to D3. It's a desert room with 2 mole drums. These worm enemies die fast. Slash their segments until they're gone. Now from D3, you'll want to head up to C3. Take out all the ropes, then the door opens. You'll want to unlock the right door and enter C4. Take out the gels, grab the 5 rupees as they drop, then head north. B4 has the old man who says to you, the Dongo dislikes smoke. He's talking about the boss. Bombs hurt the Dongos. Remember that. Now head back to C4, then back over to C3. Now head north to C3. B3 is packed with an enemy called Gorias. Boss battle, the Dongo, in room A3. You're facing a dinosaur. Your sword does nothing. So here's what you do. Place a bomb directly in his path. He'll eat it and it explodes inside him. Once he's taken out, grab the heart he drops and head left. Now room A2 has the Triforce. Grab it, heal fully, and warp out. 1 down, you have 7 more to go. Let's start with a tough one. What classical music piece did composer Koji Kondo originally plan to use as Zelda's main theme before he had to scrap it at the last minute? Bonus points if you know the composer. Drop your answer below. The road to level 1 is going to be a ton of fun. It's located at H4. I've circled it on the map for you in case you get lost. But we're not going straight there. We've got some serious prep work to do first. The first stop is grabbing a heart container. This is a one-time shot, so make it count. You can see it on screen right now. Next up, we're ducking into this cave to pick up 30 rupees. It's quick cash, just in and out. Now moving along, we're dodging these red Tektites. They're spider-like enemies that hop around. They're easy to kill with the sword, but we're not wasting time. We've got places to be. Now all the way at P2, there's a gambling spot where you can earn extra rupees if you're feeling lucky. But the real prize is the hidden path to P1, an easy 100 rupees just sitting there waiting for you. You want to grab it. Now we're backtracking all the way to O1 for the letter. The old man in this cave gives it to you with instructions to deliver it to the old woman. Here's why it matters. As long as you have the letter, the old woman will sell you health recovery potions, the life potion, and the second potion in her shops throughout the world. You'll need these for later. Next, we're heading to the shop at M1 to buy the blue candle. This thing is essential. It shoots a temporary red flame in front of Link that lights up dark dungeon rooms and damages certain enemies. You can get hurt by the fire too, so just be careful. More importantly, it burns specific trees in the overworld that reveal hidden staircases leading to caves. You absolutely need this. Our next challenge, getting the white sword in K1. It's near a waterfall, guarded by a Lionel. Inside the cave, the old man says, master using it and you can have this. But there's a requirement. You need at least 5 heart containers. Once you grab it, the white sword replaces your pathetic wooden sword and deals double damage. It's a game changer against most enemies you'll face, and you can get it before even touching level 1. Later, we'll replace it with the magical sword. But for now, this is your weapon. Here's a question about Zelda's legendary sales. How many copies did the game sell on its very first day of release in Japan? Let me know your guess in the comments. Finally, we've gotten everything we need to tackle level 1. There's one last pit stop at I3, another quick 30 rupees. We'll need the cash moving forward. Can you name the famous American author whose wife inspired Princess Zelda's name? This is a pretty well-known piece of trivia, so let's see who gets it right. Here's something that blew my mind. The game world contains 600 separate screens. That's absolutely massive for a game from 1986. Okay, test your development knowledge. Zelda and which other iconic Nintendo game were developed at the exact same time by the exact same team? Comment if you know. The dungeon entrance is only 1 square down and 2 to the left from here. See how helpful this map is? Now let's do this. Here's a tricky technical question. How many separate screens or scenes does the entire Zelda game world contain? This number might shock you for a 1986 game.
Alright, welcome to the very first dungeon in The Legend of Zelda, the Eagle. This is where your real adventure begins. Now let's dive in and conquer this place. Right off the bat, you want to head straight to room D3 and clear out the skeletons. Once they're gone, a key appears. Grab it. You'll need it for some locked doors ahead. Now bomb that upper wall to reveal a hidden passage to C3. Inside you'll find the dungeon map, which shows you the entire layout. It's super helpful. You'll want to head up 2 rooms to room A3, slashing those gel enemies. In B3, watch out for Stalfos. Those skeleton warriors are way tougher than regular enemies, so stay sharp.
Let's talk about release dates. Zelda came out in Japan in February of 1986, but how long did North American players have to wait before they could play it? Drop your answer below.
In room A2, let me show you block clipping. Line Link up under a block so his hat touches the top edge, slash your sword, then immediately tap left or right. Now walk straight up, Link phases through the block. This lets you skip killing entire rooms of enemies. I'll show it a few more times below if you want to take a look. It might take some practice. Now head up to B2 for your first major upgrade. The bow. It's guarded by Keese, those annoying bad enemies. Take them out and claim your ranged weapon. Now you want to backtrack all the way to B5 for the boss. I have it listed on the left side. Aquamentus is a stationary dragon who shoots triple fireballs. You want to shoot the fireballs, then rush in close. The white sword takes him out in 3 hits. Use sword beams if you're at full health. The blue ring reduces damage to half a heart. You want to stay calm and use his lack of movement against him. Wait for his fireball pattern, dodge sideways, then get in close with the white sword. 3 hits and he's done. Now head right to B6, grab that Triforce piece, and you're done. The first dungeon is complete.
Here's a question about game rankings. When Game Informer listed their top 100 games of all time in 2001, what position did they give The Legend of Zelda? Our first order of business is heading over to I5. Whip out that blue candle and light that bush on fire. It's a quick 30 rupees, just like that. See how fast the coins add up when you know where to look? Next, there's another heart container located at H5. We're grabbing it and you're choosing the heart upgrade. It's way more useful than the alternative. Your survivability just keeps climbing. Switching on to the other side. Alright, this is where we flip to the other side of the map. I've carefully switched it over for you on screen. For now, we've collected everything we need from this section. With no more stops, we're making our way to level 3. Now level 3 is going to be on the lower right hand side of the screen. Just be careful as you make your way there. Hyrule's a dangerous place, and the enemies are getting tougher the further we push into this quest. Link's journey to save Princess Zelda and stop Ganon is just getting started, and every heart, every rupee, and every item we've collected up until this point is building toward that final confrontation. The Legend of Zelda doesn't hold your hand. It drops you into the wilderness and says, figure it out. And that's exactly what we're doing. Stay sharp, follow the route, and let's keep moving.
Level 3 is where things get serious. It's a bigger dungeon with tougher enemies and a brutal boss waiting at the end. But you've got better gear now, so let's put it to work. Right from the start, head to room F3. You'll find your first key here, but watch out for a new enemy type, Zol. Here's the trick. If you hit a Zol with a weaker weapon, it splits into 2 gels, so use your stronger sword to take it down in one shot. Move up to E3 for another key. There's a neat trick here. You can attack enemies from the sides of the blocks. Link's sword range just barely reaches over, so use that to your advantage and stay safe. Now, navigate to D2 and grab the compass. This'll show you where all the items and bosses are located. Then head back to C1 for your next key. You're collecting keys fast because you're going to need them. Alright, your next destination is the raft. But first, you've got to survive D2, which is packed with dark nuts. These heavily armored knights are no joke. They carry shields that block all frontal attacks, so you must strike from the side or the back. There are two types, red and blue. Blue dark nuts take way more hits, so prioritize your reds first if you can choose your battles. Circle around them, bait their movement, then strike from behind. Once you clear this room, claim the raft.
Here's one for the hardcore fans. What secret name can you enter when starting a new save file to instantly access the second quest without beating the first quest? Comment if you tried this. Fun fact, The Legend of Zelda sold over 1 million copies on its very first day of release in Japan. That's absolutely insane for 1986. Development trivia time. In what year did work on The Legend of Zelda actually begin? Let's see who knows their Nintendo history.
Now navigate to C5 for the boss. Manhalda is a 4-limbed plant creature that's fast but surprisingly fragile if you know the secret. You want to place bombs directly in his path. A perfect bomb placement is an instant death. A bad placement removes 1 or 2 limbs only. You want to finish the remaining limbs with sword strikes. Each limb requires 2 slashes. The boss speeds up as the limbs are destroyed. It's faster movement, but not more dangerous. Once Manhandla falls, grab the heart container and head north to B5. There's your third Triforce piece. Pick it up, heal if you need to, and warp out. 3 dungeons down, and you're making some serious progress. Level 3 is complete.
Alright, the road to Dungeon 4. Your first stop is C7. There's a trick here that lets you cut through the path and make some quick cash. Light the right bush on fire with the blue candle and boom, easy 100 rupees. I absolutely love it when this happens. We've been saving the rupees for a reason, and this is it. We're heading to get the blue ring. It costs a steep 250 rupees and it's hidden in a shop beneath an Armo statue. Once you buy it, Link gets a whitish blue tunic, but more importantly, you take half damage from everything. This is a massive upgrade. Every hit you take is cut in half. It's totally worth the investment. Pop quiz on Zelda accolades. What prestigious video game Hall of Fame inducted The Legend of Zelda in 2016? Let me know if you recognize this one. Making your way back outside, now we're going to use the screen scrolling glitch to skip a section of the map, and it's not as hard as it looks. I've left the inputs on the screen to the left if you want to follow along. Here's how it works. Stand near the edge of the screen, facing the direction you want to go, exactly 5 pixels from the edge. Press the perpendicular direction on the D-pad for exactly 1 frame. So if Link's facing left or right, tap up or down for a single frame. If you did it right, Link turns around in place. Now walk off the edge and Link reappears on the opposite side of the same screen. This glitch is insanely useful.
Alright, welcome to level 4, and this is where the game starts showing its teeth. The enemies hit harder, rooms are packed tighter, and we've got a boss with multiple heads waiting for us. But hey, we've got the magical sword now, so we're ready for this. From where you spawn at H2, head 2 screens straight up to F2. You'll want to grab that key, cause we're going to need it. Now push left into F1. Here you'll encounter a new type called a Vire. These guys are interesting. You can slice them down with your sword, but here's the catch. Unless you're using the magical sword, each Vire splits into 2 red keys when you kill it. The red keys only spawn this way, and they behave exactly like blue keys. Just be ready for them. Keep moving up to E1. This room's pitch black, so you'll need to navigate carefully through the darkness. I've got a map on screen to help you see the layout and enemy positions. Our next objective is E3, and this is a big one. We're grabbing the stepladder. This item is absolutely crucial for the rest of the game. So many later dungeons and overworld areas have gaps that you can only cross with this thing. Plus, you'll need it to collect one of the 5 overworld heart containers, so don't skip this. Alright, with the stepladder secured, it's time to head to B4 for the boss fight. The upcoming boss is Gleeok. This is your first real challenge, a 2-headed dragon that means business. He's stationary in the center, but both heads fire fireballs independently, so the screen gets chaotic fast.
Did you know the iconic overworld theme was composed in just 1 day? Koji Kondo had to scrap his original plan to use Maurice Ravel's Bolero because it was still under copyright. He missed the public domain deadline by literally 1 month. Okay, what British price did computer and video games magazine critics criticize as hefty when Zelda launched in the UK? This converts to about $180 in today's money.
Get in close with the magical sword and start slashing. 2 solid hits per head and they'll detach. Once they're floating, they become even more aggressive, firing more fireballs. So don't chase them, keep your focus on the body. 8 total hits and Gleeok goes down. Grab the heart container when he falls, then head north to A4 for the Triforce. Touch it, heal up, and warp out. With 4 dungeons down, you're halfway there.
We're heading southeast to the shop at G7. We don't actually need the shop itself. This is just practice for those screen wraps we learned. We're going to be using them to travel faster through the map as we progress. It's not 100% necessary, but it's totally useful once you get the hang of it. Now make your way down to L7. Pull out the candle and use it on the bush for a quick 100 rupees. Can you name this ultra rare promotional version of Zelda that was created to advertise instant noodles and now sells for over $1,000? Comment if you've heard this bizarre collectible. Here's a wild one. Miyamoto drew inspiration for Zelda's exploration from his own childhood adventures near Kyoto. He'd hike around discovering lakes and caves and wanted to capture that feeling of stumbling onto something magical. Next, we're heading down to L8 to pick up yet another heart container. At this rate, you're going to have so many hearts, you can tank out almost any enemy cluster in all of the dungeons. This is exactly the prep work that makes the late game just so manageable. Along the shoreline, you'll be taking out some Octorocks. Red Octorocks spit rocks at Link that are easily deflectable. Just slash at them with your sword while standing directly in front of them. Blue Octorocks work the same way, but they take significantly more hits to kill. The manual warns you, watch out for the blue ones, they're mean. You'll also see river Zoras, half fish, half woman enemies that live in the water. They stick their heads out and shoot fireballs that only can be deflected with a magical shield. The easiest way to take them down is with full health and sword beams. Otherwise, just avoid their attacks and keep moving. It's going to be so tempting to pick up the heart in P6. but you need a new item to reach it, the one you don't have yet. Just continue onward. The ultimate goal is to take the raft up to P3 and pick the potion instead of the heart this time. That way, we don't have to bother with delivering the letter to the old lady or spend rupees on potions. In the second quest especially, you don't have enough money from secrets to buy everything you need, and racking up rupees takes some serious time. This route maximizes efficiency. You're on fire with these upgrades. Make sure to capitalize on it. Our next move is to climb the mountain and take out some red tektites. These spider-like enemies hop around, but they are easily defeated with the sword, most common on the edges of the map. Now I'm going to line up the screen wrap trick from M1 to L1. It saves a bunch of time and lets you skip fighting more enemies. I've left the trick in the lower left-hand corner again, so you can see the inputs if you want to try it yourself. Watch me execute it on screen. There we go. Clean. Link's quest to collect the 8 Triforce fragments and Storm Death Mountain is all about preparation. Every rupee, every heart, every item, it's all building toward that final showdown with Ganon. The Legend of Zelda respects your time if you respect the game. Plan your route, grab your upgrades, and don't skip the essentials. With that out of the way, on to Dungeon 5.
Welcome to Dungeon 5, the Lizard. This is where the difficulty really spikes. You're getting the whistle here, meeting some nasty new enemy types, and there's even a bomb upgrade you can buy mid-dungeon. Let's go. Head up one screen from the entrance. It's going to be dark, so I've got a map to show you the layout. From here, go 2 screens left to reach G1. Now we're going to fast track our way to A3 using the ladders below. It's almost like playing a giant game of Clue, navigating this board carefully.
Okay, can you name the screenwriter who wrote Zelda's backstory for the manual and also worked on Dragon Ball and Dr. Slump? This is a deep cut.
The next room to the left, A2, has 6 Dark Nuts waiting for you. You've fought these guys before, but let me remind you, the red Dark Nuts are tough and blue Dark Nuts are even tougher. Their shields block all frontal attacks, so you must strike from the sides or the back. The manual describes them as the knight who lives in the labyrinths with lots of attacking power. They're not joking. Circle around them, bait their movements, and strike when they're vulnerable. It's tedious, but necessary.
Here's a weird one. What enemy in the Japanese Famicom version could be defeated by blowing or shouting into the controller's built-in microphone? Drop your guess in the comments. Fun fact, the famous "It's dangerous to go alone, take this" line wasn't just a meme. It was actually Miyamoto's way of forcing players to interact and talk with NPCs instead of just running around aimlessly.
I always love doing these NES playthroughs with commentary. It's such a fun way to relive these games while talking through the strategy.
Did you know the game's labyrinth dungeons were inspired by Miyamoto getting lost in his own family home? The maze of sliding doors in his childhood house in Shinobi became the blueprint for Zelda's dungeons.
Once you clear the room, push the center block to reveal the stairs in the top right corner. Go down and you'll find the recorder, also called the flute or the whistle. This item is game-changing. The flute plays a distinctive 6-note melody that does multiple things in The Legend of Zelda. First, it lets you warp to any dungeon you've already cleared. Face north or east to warp forward in the sequence, or south and west to warp backward. Second, you'll need it later to dry up a body of water that reveals the entrance to level 7. In this second quest, it can unveil hidden caves and the entrance to level 6. And third, this is important for right now, it splits the boss, Dig Dogger, into 3 smaller versions. Keep that in mind because we're heading to the boss soon. Now before the boss, you have a choice. You can backtrack to B4 to buy the bomb upgrade for 100 rupees. This increases your maximum bomb capacity, which is super helpful for the rest of the game. If you've got the rupees, I'd recommend grabbing it. If not, we can skip straight to the boss in C1.
Let's talk money. What was Nintendo's advertising budget for a single Zelda commercial, which was way more than most companies spent at the time? This number is wild. Here's some cool trivia. Link was originally supposed to be connecting past and the future, with the Triforce fragments being electronic circuits. The final game ditched the sci-fi stuff for a medieval fantasy setting, but the name Link stuck.
Alrighty, here we are, C1. It's time to face Dig Dogger. He looks intimidating, but this giant eyeball creature, and honestly, he's a joke if you know the trick. As soon as you enter, equip the whistle and play it. Dig Dogger shrinks down to a tiny, harmless version of himself. He literally has no attacks when he's small. Just run up and slash him twice with the magical sword and he's done. Pick it up, heal, and warp out. 5 dungeons are down, and you're officially past the halfway point. The lizard was a long dungeon with some tough dark nuts, but that boss fight, a total pushover. You've got the whistle now, which is going to open up new areas and make travel way easier. Great work! Level 5 is now complete.
We're going to start off by using the flute to warp us to level 3. It's located at E8. Remember, overworld traveling with the recorder is determined by which direction Link is facing. Face north or east to warp forward in the dungeon sequence, south or west to warp backward. It's an incredibly effective way to cross the overworld fast. Our first order of business is heading north to E5 to pick up some arrows. You're going to need them for the upcoming stages. Trust me on this. Next, head over to the shop in E4. We're buying the food here. It costs either 60 or 100 rupees depending on the shop, but we're grabbing it now so we don't have to deal with buying it inside the dungeon later. You'll need this to pass a critical moment in level 7. It's one of those seemingly minor items that becomes absolutely essential.
That's one reason why I enjoy these classic video game playthroughs. They remind you just how much design went into even the simplest moments.
Now, here's the trick. You have to play the flute while standing in the water for level 7 to actually reveal itself. As soon as you do, the water changes color and the dungeon entrance appears. It's one of the game's hidden secrets, and without the flute, you'll never find it. This is classic Zelda design. Items aren't just for combat or navigation. They unlock entire sections of the world. The flute dries up the lake, the candle burns bushes, and the bombs blow open walls.
Alright, level 7, the demon. And here's the good news. Despite the intimidating number, this is actually easier than the nightmare you just survived in level 5. This layout's straightforward. The enemies are mostly familiar faces. And the boss? It's Aquamentus again. Yeah, the first boss. We'll take that victory lap. Starting out, take the upper path heading to room G2. You'll need multiple bombs here. Blow up the upper wall to proceed. Now push forward 2 screens to E2 and watch out for the blue Garayas. These boomerang throwing jerks are tougher than their red cousins. They soak up way more damage. Block their boomerangs with their shield. Close the gap and slash them down. Once they're all cleared, you'll need to use the stepladder to cross the water in this room. The next stop is C1. There's a shopkeeper here, and you need to buy the food for either 60 or 100 rupees depending on the shop. Don't skip this, it's mandatory. You'll see why in a second.
Fun fact, Princess Zelda is named after Zelda Fitzgerald, the famous wife of novelist F. Scott Fitzgerald. Miyamoto just thought she was beautiful and liked how her name sounded.
You want to head over to B5 next, with 4 statues, and our old friend Dig Dogger waiting in the middle. Whip out the whistle, shrink him down, then carve up the 3 mini Dig Doggers, 2 slashes each. Easy.
Did you know the second quest was basically an accident? When the team finished copying all the dungeon designs, they'd only used half the available memory, so they just created an entirely new quest with the leftover space.
Move north when you're done. Now brace yourself. Room A6 is coming up, and it's one of the hardest rooms in the entire game. Wall masters are everywhere. These disembodied hands drop from the walls, and if they grab you, you're getting dragged all the way back to the dungeon entrance. Keep moving, stay alert, and fight through it. Once you survive that gauntlet, find the 3rd block from the right side and push it left. Now take the ladder down to escape and grab the compass in C2. Alright, we're just 1 room away from the boss. Alright, now it's boss time. You've already beat this guy in level 1, and he hasn't learned any new tricks. It's the same blue dragon with the same attack pattern. He just stands still and shoots 3 fireballs in a spread. You want to walk calmly between the fireballs, get close in and slash with the magical sword. 3 hits and he's toast. It's the easiest boss in this game at this point. Grab the heart container and head east when you're done. Then warp out with 6 dungeons down, 2 to go. Let's keep this momentum rolling.
We're making our way to the graveyard using a screen wrap at B6. This lets us skip having to move down and around, avoiding some seriously dangerous enemies. If you need a visual guide, I've left the inputs on the screen. You're going to see a new enemy once you hit the graveyard, the Genie. These are ghost enemies that haunt the graveyard. They're defeated pretty easily with a few sword slashes. The manual says there are 2 types, Genies that are there from the start, and the ones that appear when Link touches the gravestones. Their attacking power is about the same as an Armos, so nothing too scary. Head up to B3. This is what we came for, the magical sword. It's hidden in a cave underneath a tombstone in the northeast corner of the graveyard. Walk inside and the old man says, master using it and you can have this. But there's a requirement. You need at least 12 heart containers. Good thing we've been collecting them. Once you grab it, the magical sword replaces the white sword and becomes the strongest weapon in the game. It deals double damage compared to the white sword. Level 6. Here's the nightmare dungeon everyone warns you about. There's wizrobes everywhere. They teleport, they shoot unblockable magic, and they hurt like hell. This is the real difficulty spike, but we've got the magical sword, blue ring, and plenty of hearts by now. Let's do this carefully. From the entrance, head 1 room left, then straight up to G1. Clear out the Zols here to reveal the compass. Now move up to F1. You need a key here. Swarm of keys are guarding it, so take them all out and grab that key. Now E1. Sprint straight through this room quickly. Spikes are gonna shred you if you hesitate. Just book it. In D1, it's where things get rough. You've got bubbles bouncing around. Likes, those tube-like monsters that eat your magic shield if they grab you, and wizrobes. The manual calls them the Master of Movement, and hey, that's accurate. They teleport constantly, firing magic spells your shield can't block. They hit hard. Stay mobile, be patient, and take them down methodically. Once the room's clear, the door opens to C1. In C1, you want to bomb the right wall. It'll open up a path to C2. Now C2's pitch black, but don't worry about fighting. Just use the step ladder to drop down to D2. In D2, there's another challenge room. There's 5 Vyres waiting for you. These devils control keys. Slice one with your sword and it splits into 2 keys. They're not individually strong, but 5 Vyres means a lot of small enemies flooding the screen. Clear them all and the path to D3 opens. Now D3 is absolute madness. Fight through the entire enemy wave, then push the block to reveal stairs. Take them down. You're getting close to the boss now, up in B6. From B6, head down to C6. It's dark, so I've got the full map on the screen showing you the route. Now go left to C5, then up 1 room to B5 for the boss. The boss's name is Goma. It's a giant crab enemy. It looks intimidating, but this is actually a one-shot kill if you know the trick. Just equip your bow and arrow as soon as you enter. Goma shuttles back and forth firing fireballs, but his eye stays closed most of the fight. Just wait, be patient, block the fireballs with your magic shield. The moment his eye opens, shoot an arrow straight into it. 1 arrow, instant kill, done. It's the easiest boss in the game if you've got the patience. Now grab the heart container and head north to A5 for the Triforce piece. Pick it up, heal, and warp out. 7 down, 2 to go. We're going to be pulling out our trusty recorder and backtracking all the way to level 2. Face the right direction and play it. Let the warp do all the work. From there, move down 1 square, then 1 square right, then down again, and down 1 more time. This will finally bring you to N7. Now burn the shrub with your candle and take the passage underground. That's your entrance to level 8. At this point in Link's journey, you can feel the weight of the quest. 7 Triforce pieces collected, the magical sword is in your hand, and the hearts are stacked so high, Ganon's forces are getting desperate, throwing everything they have at you. Level 8 is the final test before Death Mountain. Welcome to level 8, the Lion. This is the final dungeon before Death Mountain, and it's throwing everything at you. So let's push through. From the entrance, head straight up 2 rooms to F4. You can completely ignore the boss in this room. You pass through. It's optional and completely not worth the trouble. Now brace yourself for F2. This room is brutal. 4 fireball towers, 1 in each corner, and 5 blue dark nuts all at once. The blue dark nuts are the toughest knights in the game, and 5 of them plus constant fireballs is absolute chaos. If you don't like your positioning when you enter, just back out and re-enter to reset the room. I just did it on the screen. There's no shame in getting a better spawn. The good news, your heart count should carry you through this without too much difficulty. This is exactly why we grabbed all those heart containers earlier. Stay mobile, strike from the sides and the back, and block what you can. Now once F2's clear, head up to E4. You can skip all the enemies here since you've got a key. Just open the door and push through to D4. There's more dark nuts in D4, plus 2 fireball shooters. You have to clear everything for the door to D5 to open. Just grind through it. Fun fact, Miyamoto actually said he doesn't consider Zelda an RPG at all, and he calls it a real-time adventure game because he's not interested in games where everything is decided by stats and numbers. That's wild when you think about how influential it was on the action RPG genre. In D5, you should have enough health to just sprint straight to the stairs. They warp you to E2. Now head to D2 by bombing the top wall. The boss's name is Gleeok. You fought this guy back in level 4. It's the same fight and same strategy. He's stationary in the center, multiple heads firing fireballs independently, getting close with the magical sword and start slashing. 2 hits per head and they detach. Once they're flying around, they shoot even more fireballs, but don't chase them. Keep your focus on the body. 8 total hits and he's done. The difference this time? You're way stronger than you were in level 4. More hearts, better equipment. This fight's actually easier now. Just stay calm and execute. Now grab the heart container and head north to C2 for the Triforce piece. Pick it up, heal, and warp out. 8 down, 1 dungeon left. Death Mountain awaits. Fun fact, you can actually beat the entire game without ever getting the sword. That's right, Miyamoto designed it so flexible that the normally essential starting weapon is technically optional. Alright, give yourself a pat on the back. That was no easy feat. All 8 dungeons in The Legend of Zelda on the NES were just conquered. 8 Triforce pieces are collected, but the real challenge? It's just the beginning. Death Mountain brings a whole new set of challenges. Now blow the whistle to warp us to the edge of stage 1. That's a key destination skip that leads us up to the mountain. Follow the exact pattern I'm doing on screen. It'll eventually bring you there. It might take a few tries, but don't give up. Alright, now that you're at level 1, we can start the climb. From here, we're making our way to Death Mountain, and unfortunately, it won't be easy. We'll have to fight a hefty amount of Lynels. Red Lynels appear around Death Mountain and can shoot sword beams just like Link. Those beams can only be blocked with the magical shield. Their attacks do significant damage, and fighting them is made even harder by their long range and speed. You want to fight them with your sword, and they'll usually drop either a heart or a fairy when defeated. Blue Lynels are essentially red Lynels with way more stamina. They're probably the hardest overworld enemy in the entire game. The manual even warns you about it. The guardian who attacks all those who come near Death Mountain. Watch out, he's pretty strong, and Link's little shield can't stop his sword. The entrance to level 9 is hidden behind the first of the 2 boulders at F1. Be careful when you drop the bomb. Timing matters here, and you're in. This is it, Death Mountain, the final dungeon. Ganon's lair. Everything you've done, every heart you've collected, every upgrade you've earned, it all comes down to this. Now let's finish what we started. We're starting at F6. Ahead of you is a staircase that'll transport you over to B5. It's the gateway into the depths of this dungeon, so take a breath and head down. Now that you're in B5, the door ahead won't open until every enemy in this room is eliminated. There's no tricks, no shortcuts, just good old-fashioned combat. Take them down methodically, conserve your health, and once the last one falls, the path to B6 opens up. Here's some good news. B6 is a free pass. You can run straight through to B7 without engaging anything. The catch? B7 is shrouded in complete darkness. You'll barely make out what's in front of you, so keep that sword at the ready. And here comes your first real test, Patra. This floating eyeball boss is surrounded by a protective ring of smaller rotating enemies. You can't damage the core until those orbiting shields are destroyed. This fight demands patience. Keep slashing away at the satellites, dodge the core movements, and eventually you'll break through. Once Patra falls, push north to A7. In A7, you'll find an old man with some advice. Go to the next room. Pretty vague, right? What he means is the wall to your left. Plant a bomb there, blow it wide open, and step into A6. Welcome to Wizrobe Central. A6 is absolutely swarming with these teleporting spellcasters, and there's no real way to avoid them. This is where that potion becomes absolutely essential. If you've been saving it, now might be the time to use it. Fight your way through, then push the left rock to uncover a staircase leading down to G4. Here's something for the completionists. The Japan Disk System version had a cool feature where you could blow into the Famicom's controller built-in microphone to defeat those rabbit-like Pulse voice enemies. The US manual still hints at this, which confused a ton of players. In G4, if you've got a key on hand, you can completely bypass the enemies and head straight left to G2. Save your strength, you're going to need it. Surprise! Another Patra. The same strategy as before. Systematically destroy those spinning satellites, then go for the core. Don't rush this fight. Once it's defeated, push the leftmost block downward to reveal a fast travel staircase that rockets all the way up to C1. Fun fact, Nintendo's marketing budget for Zelda commercials was absolutely bonkers. They'd spend up to $5 million on a single ad, 4 or 5 times more than most companies. One featured a wiry-haired nerdy guy, John Kazzer, screaming through the dark calling for Zelda. Did you know there's a secret way to access the second quest? Just name your file Zelda and you can jump straight into the harder version without beating the game first. And we're back dealing with Wizrobes. C1 is packed wall to wall with them. Here's a pro tip, if you can bomb the upper wall and make a run for it, do it. Sometimes avoiding the fight entirely is the smartest play, otherwise buckle down and clear them out. Now B1 is absolutely brutal, another wave of powerful enemies, and by this point your health is probably taking a serious beating. If you still have that potion and you're running dangerously low, this might be your last chance to use it. Clear out the room, then push the middle block from the right side to reveal the next staircase. And finally, the silver arrows. This is the second major treasure in level 9, along with the red ring. These aren't ordinary arrows, they deal double the damage of regular arrows, hitting with the same force as the magical sword or bombs. But here's what makes them truly special. They're the only weapon capable of delivering the killing blow to Ganon. You'll weaken him with your sword first, 15 hits with your basic sword, 8 with the white sword, or 4 with the magical sword, and once he's stunned, one single silver arrow ends it all. He explodes into dust and drops the Triforce of Power. Oh, and because of the NES's graphical limitations, these silver arrows actually appear blue on the screen, but trust me, they're just as deadly. It's time to backtrack. If you hit a dead end like I did, don't hesitate to use that potion one more time rather than restarting. We're heading back to G2 now. From G2, move up 2 rooms to reach E2, then head north one more time to D2. Once there, use your bombs on the left wall to open up the path to D1. Did you know the success of Zelda's hidden secrets basically created Nintendo Power Magazine? The Fun Club newsletter started with just 700 members getting game tips, but by nearly 1988, there were nearly over 1 million members trading Zelda secrets. Exercise extreme caution in D1. This room is specifically designed to trap careless players with its layout. Move carefully, push the leftmost block, and reveal the staircase down to A5. Did you know Zelda started as a launch title for the Famicom disk system in Japan? The disk format allowed for 128 kilobytes of storage, which would have been crazy expensive to produce as a cartridge back then. Bomb the leftmost wall in A5 to access A4, then take the staircase down to F3. You're extremely close now. In F3, one last Patra stands between you and Ganon. By now, you've mastered this fight. Eliminate the orbiting enemies, destroy the core, and move forward. After this, there's no turning back. Steel yourself, the Prince of Darkness awaits. This is everything. The ultimate confrontation. Ganon, the embodiment of evil itself. During Phase 1, Link automatically draws the Triforce. The entire room illuminates. The black floor is solid ground, not pits. Ganon immediately turns invisible. He fires unblockable fireballs while cloaked, slash wildly around the room to make contact. He briefly reappears when struck, then vanishes again. 4 hits with the magical sword triggers Phase 2. Now Ganon shifts to a brown-red combination after 4 hits. He stops teleporting, but continues firing fireballs. You want to equip your bow and arrows. Immediately, 1 silver arrow through his body destroys him instantly. He disintegrates into dust. The Triforce piece remains where he fell. The northern door unlocks. Princess Zelda stands surrounded by a ring of mystical flames. Slash through each fire with your sword to break the spell, then approach her. The final cutscene begins. You've saved Hyrule. You've beaten The Legend of Zelda on the NES. Congratulations, hero. Thanks for joining me on this journey. Until next time.